like that move, chat. I know you like that move. That's what we call fucking skill. So this is what I am running for my current Berserker build. We have the Sword of the Champion with a cruel gem in it. This is to buff the damage specifically for slows when you're like spamming light attacks with your sword and shield. You're going to be applying light attacks and getting a slow with your Achilles heel. So there's a 20% slow there. You have another slow with your leaping strike. And then you're going to get an extra 10% extra damage on slow targets from that. So 10% an opportunist. You're going to get another 10% here. And then you're going to get another 12% there on slowed targets, okay? So when you're attacking somebody from behind, you're critting, you're getting the penetrating backstab. Because you're critting, you're getting keenly empowered. Because you're critting, you're also getting haste. So all that damage stacks up, and it's pretty deadly. These are the weapon masteries that I run. So we have 1 point in shield rush. You don't need anything else. We're going with defensive training so that when we do block, you get the 10% fortify for 5 seconds. So if you're catching light attacks or whatever, you can get empower with counterattack and the fortify. We're picking up elemental resistance to give us 10% mitigation. Recuperation to get increased 10% healing and regen. So if you're going to pop a potion, especially like your regen pot, your orange pot, this is a good bar to do it on when you're like brawling on your sword board. Fully buffed up shield bash. And then leadership, obviously, for the extra 10% damage. For the hatchet, we're running Berserker's Axe with a Gambit gem. That's an extra 15% damage when your stamina is not full. So what you want to be doing is you initiate with your throw, swap, hit him with this, tap, tap, tap. Maybe you stun them, hit him with this shit, okay? But basically, when you're like fighting people, you're going to be just swinging light attacks, rolling, swinging light attacks, rolling. You always want to go 1, 2, 3, and then roll. And the way you can maintain that is from the hatchet passive. So if you look here, we have this passive rejuvenating crit. So critical hits with light attacks regenerate 10 stam. Also, every 3 consecutive light attacks, I get fortify, 15% fortify for 3 seconds. So you'll see me diving in, tap, 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 dive, tap, 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 dive, tap, tap, tap. When I'm doing this, I'm trying to get behind them so I can get the backstab damage. Also with hatchet, we go full berserker buffs. We're going feral rush, and we're getting passive to basically allow our damage to snowball. So against all odds, increase base damage by 10% for every enemy within 5 meters. Okay, this can go up to 50% damage increase if you have 5 people around you. You want to get the increased light attack damage to targets that are below 30% health. If you get this passive, that's another 10% additional damage on targets that have a debuff. So if you pop them with your rending throw, that's a 10% rend. This cooldown is really short. It's 7.5 seconds for a 10-second debuff. So if you're quick enough with your rending throws, you can maintain like a rend stack on your target. So you can pop them with 1 rend, get in there, chop, 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 move around, get extra damage, chop, 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 move around, hit them with another rending throw, finish them off. If they run, hit them with this shit, get their slow on them, stun them, whatever you got to do, go back or roll right into rending throw again. So you notice that I swapped into like a dodge roll so that I'm giving 15% extra damage when I go into my rending throw, or if I go like into my berserk, or a swap roll into my feral rush. Those are all ways that you can buff that initial hit and have one smooth action with it. So this is how you're able to stay in a fight and just chop your way through people, okay? How can you improve damage? Heavy attack. I'm hitting for more. Fast heavy. Fast heavy. Does that make sense? So, what we're leveraging there is the reduction in stam costs, and we're getting the extra backstab damage. All right. Now, another way you could do this is you go 150 con. You go... Hold on. Something's wrong here. Oh, I know why. I'm going to put my Immortal Empowerment ring on. This is a strength ring, which is too much. I want... Where is it? I want con. So I kick my strength down a little bit. So I can go 150. Okay. Maintain that 150 here. So I'm still getting that reduction. Okay. But what I've done is I've made myself slightly tankier because I have a little bit more HP. I have the 10% crit damage reduction. Okay. My damage is, it's pretty close. You want to go 216 because we get 1231, 1211. If I did 200 or 206 and did all of them to dex, it's slightly less. We're talking like 4 damage less. It's not a big deal. But let's min-max it. So there you go. So same thing. But notice I'm hitting significantly less. Right? And it's because I don't have that 10% behind the back damage. That was the smooth bone ring. Okay? So we have less base damage, and we don't have the bonus backstab damage. Now, the problem with this is I don't have grit. So what I learned was while I'm doing this is only powerful when I'm in Berserk. Because I'm uninterruptible, right? You're like, what is he talking about? Let's look at it. So this increases damage by 20%. This gives me movement speed. This gives me health at the end of it. Or actually, I think every 4 seconds you get a tick. So if it's a 12-second duration, you're going to get 3 ticks of health. Okay. Remove all stuns, slows, roots from yourself while active. And then while this is going, your attacks are uninterruptible and you can't be staggered, right? So that means if I don't have 300 strength, the only way I'm going to be able to maintain this is if I'm in Berserk, okay? I can be CC'd, or I can't be staggered while I'm doing this. So I can just maintain this shit constantly. Does that make sense? Champion ring's fine for this build. Absolutely. It's just like, it's a different damage modifier. You see what I'm saying? What I liked about Smooth Bone Ring was I was hitting so hard that having that crit was actually in the leeching. Like the crit chance was allowing me to crit more often when I'm attacking people from the front. So like my return on stand was a little bit better. I was able to kind of like use this passive to dip stand back to me. Does that make sense? Just having that, because this says I don't have keen awareness, but this I get that extra 12% crit chance. So it allows me, like when I run Smooth Bone Ring, I don't care if I'm attacking them from the front or from behind, because I'm gonna crit them eventually. I have a higher chance of critting with that keen awareness on. But if I don't have it on, I gotta hunt for that back and get those crits. Okay. Now, if I go 300 strength, which is what I've been doing recently, right? Now I have grit. I go get the 150 con. So now I'm defensive. And I get this. And this is what I've been doing. Again, it's not as much weapon damage, but it's about the same. 1200, a little bit less than that. I think I get to like 1300 if I do 200. The reason being, you're just going to get diminishing returns. But with this setup, I'm getting this crit chance. I'm getting grit, which is the main thing. Okay, I'm picking up stam regen while performing light attacks. Okay, it's not a lot, but it's a little bit. Okay, I still have that same passive. So like the rolling with this is more inefficient because look, it's costing me 50 stam, but I can make up for that. I can make up for that for landing crits on their back. And then also the fact that if I land a light attack, my base regen is just better. Okay, so let's look at that. Oh shit. So you see how I'm hitting a little bit less? Now what I realized was like, when I'm in OPRs and I'm in a clump, I want to be able to like always be powerful. So if I'm off cooldown on this thing, I can still be strong in the fight. I can still maintain my attacks. So like when Berserker wears off, which is about to do right now, I have no Berserk, right? You see how I have to watch my stam more? So a lot of times, what I'm aiming to do here is just go heavy into some lights. A lot of times I'll go like heavy, tap, tap, roll, heavy, tap, tap, roll. Oh shit, I can get 3 on this guy, 3 on this guy. Swap, stun him, go back, rend. When I'm exhausted, I'm gonna use my Berserk. There's a 4th way you can do it, and unfortunately, I don't have the gear for it. But another way people do like Schizo builds, and I see this more often with builds that do more of a throwing play style. What they're going to do is take their dex and go all the way up to 250 so that they're getting the backstab damage, they're getting the bonus to random critical hit damage, and they're only going with 100 points into strength. And the reason why is because they're not doing melee attacks. Okay? They're doing more throws. So there's really no reason to go all the way up to like, you know, to 250 or 300 or whatever if you're doing like a throw build. I feel like Feral Rush is way more destructive. I call this the bowling ball ability. Because what I like to do with this is I'll be like, YOLO, and I'll just roll into them. And I won't miss. Miss that time. But it hits like a fucking truck. This ability, like if you rend your target, see how hard that hit? That 5670? And that wasn't even behind the back. So let's see if I can get like a good demonstration of damage. See how hard that's hitting? And I'll see with Berserk on. Look at that, 8K. There you go. There it is. So like that damage, dude, when you hit somebody from behind and you have all this shit charged up, you just destroy them. They get popped. Now remember, I'm giving myself empower from a heavy attack. That's 15% for the next 4 attacks within 5 seconds. So heavy attack. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or it could be 1, 2, 3. And then your 4th is this guy. But what's super important with Hatchet, man, is you proc up your what's the word I'm trying to say? You roll into your attacks. That's 15% damage. And then if you have multiple targets around you, you get 10% per target right here. 10% extra damage for every enemy within 5 meters. So that's why I say it's like a bowling ball, because imagine this is a clump in OPR and I'm like this far away and I go, oh, look at this. I can just be in here just fucking mowing people down. Oh, he's running away. Boom, hit him with this. And then on top of all of that, now I have mortal empowerment. I can start stacking up damage. So I like the Feral Rush because you can really get some big bursts on not just one target, but multiple targets. Like if people are stacked up together, like they're fighting like hip to hip, oh man, I start like salivating when I see that, because I know that I can just like destroy them with something like this. I'll just roll in and hit them, roll away, try to get my 3 hits. Oh, got my fortify. Yes. Now I'm gonna sit into a heavy attack. I think the more I think about it, if I get my 3 hits off, I'm gonna go into a heavy attack. Now, the thing that most people do that gets them in trouble is they do a fully charged heavy attack, and you don't need to do that. If you read this, okay, it's successful heavy attack, so I can do a quick one. Also give me empower. I don't have to do the fully loaded one. You do the fully loaded one, they're gonna dodge it. So you just go quick. Roll. Rending. So for my armor, my headpiece has Crippling, Feral Rush, Freedom, and Resilient. The Crippling Feral Rush allows me to apply a 20% slow on my target. So if I apply the slow, I can then swap and have the increased damage when I'm on my sword board. For my chest piece, we have Freedom, Sturdy Energy, and Resilient. Sturdy Energy, when blocking a hit while below 30% stamina, gain 39% increased stam regen for 6 seconds. So what this helps me do is when I'm blocking range attacks and I'm playing catch to proc my fortify buff and my stacks of empower, when I get below 30% stamina, I get that extra influx of stam regen, which helps me either maintain blocking or maintain iframes with my dodge rolling. For my gloves, we're going with Resilient, Freedom, Empowering Breaker. Empowering Breaker, when your attacks are blocked, you gain a stack of Empower, increasing damage by 3.9% for 5 seconds, and it can stack up to 5 stacks. So you could potentially get 20% Empower just from light attacking a target that is blocking. The reason why I have this piece is because in the next patch, this Brimstone patch, great swords are going to be able to auto block when they're charging up a heavy attack in the Defiant tree. Or any person that's using a shield that's blocking, I'll be able to chop up extra damage by just spamming quick light attacks. The beauty of having sword and hatchet is that both of the light attacks are relatively quick and they don't do a lot of stamina damage. So if someone's blocking, it's an opportunity to get a lot of extra free damage while then getting behind them and hitting them with like an empower with a crit to get your empower stacks completely maxed out. For my legs, we're going with Shirking Energy, Resilient, and Fortifying Shield Rush. I get a 19% fortify whenever I land a fortified shield rush on a target. So I can stack that fortify while also blocking a range attack, and I can get a lot of stacks of fortification. And then for my boots, we have Shirking Fort, Refreshing, Empowering, Leaping Strike. So now any damage that I do after my Leaping Strike gets a buff of 17%. And I also will get a stack of Shirking Fortification whenever I dodge. So there's 3.9% from that Shirking Fort. We get 19% from Fortified Shield Rush, and then we'll get an additional 10% Fortify from blocking and attack. Now for my shield, I have a Keen, Sturdy, Keenly Jagged, and Enchanted Shield with Constitution. The way I was able to get this shield is we used a stopwatch and we rolled Enchanted in order to proc all these damage perks on the shield. So the combination on my sword and shield is this. I have Keen, Vicious, Penetrating Backstab, Keenly Jagged, Keenly Empowered, enchanted, and then sturdy. So when I crit, I'm getting keenly jagged. I'm getting keenly empowered. I'm also going to be getting the movement speed. Whenever I block, it's going to be reduced. I'm going to proc up these defensive skills. And the enchant is going to carry my light and heavy attack damage, and it's going to help stack up additional damage when I'm hitting a target that is slowed. For my jewelry, I have used both Blessing of Forefathers, which has health, divine, and fortified recovery. When you're a hit while below 50%, gain 10% fortify for 5 seconds. This has a 90-second cooldown, but what this necklace will do is protect and preserve your Defy Death, which is going to be your Hatchet final passive. So having that Fortify kick in when my health gets below 50% health will prevent that burst from extending me down and proccing that Defy Death early, and gives me the opportunity of popping a potion to prevent that going on cooldown. The other necklace that I've recently swapped to, and I'm starting to like this more and more, is also a Health Divine necklace, but it has Shirking Dot Cleanse. So dodging through an enemy attack while in light equipment load causes you to lose 1 dot. So a bleed, burn, or poison debuff. This is really good when I'm fighting against fire staffs or bow builds that are keeping pressure on me from range. I can just dodge every 5 seconds and cleanse myself of that debuff. For the ring, there's a couple options you can do. Right now, I'm using a Hardy Mortal Empowerment ring, but you can also use a Smooth Bone ring, which is going to give you Hardy, the extra crit from Keen Awareness, and then the leeching damage. The third option that you could do would be like a Champion's ring, which is going to give you Hardy and Keen Awareness, and then Invigorated Punishment. The maximum bonus damage you can get from Invigorated Punishment is going to be 16%, whereas Mortal Empowerment can go up to 30%. I've really been liking Mortal Empowerment for snowball and scaling damage, but if, let's say, you're having a hard time maintaining stacks, Champion's Ring or Smooth Bone Ring are 2 great alternatives. From my necklace, I'm using the Doom's Chance earring. It comes with refreshing toast, and regenerating. If your build has too much strength, you can swap this out for a Champion's earring, which is essentially the exact same piece. It just has constitution instead of strength. And that's my armor. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe and follow my Twitch channel. A montage of me using this build will be released soon, so make sure to turn on your notifications. Thanks. Yeah, mother.